What's up, everybody? This your man Troy from the Capital Music Group, and you are now tuned in with your girl ADRI.V, the Go Getta, on the G Code.
Hey, what's up, my Go Getters? It's me, ADRI.V, the Go Getta, and welcome to another episode of the G Code podcast. And this week's episode is powered by ADRI.V, the Go Getta app. Yes, guys, I got my own app, and today I am officially going hard with it in the paint. You can find it in your Google Play or in your Apple iTunes store, and you could download it. And guess what? It is free $99, and you can find it there. Download it to your Android, to your tablet, to your iPad, to your iPhone, and get to using it. You could get empowered, informed, educated, and entertained all through my app, and it's all things Go Getter, where you go to get your motivational minute on a weekly, where I can get you motivated to get up, get out, and go get yours. Definitely get information about some movers and shakers, some Go Getters. Shop the Go Getter, of course, with my apparel store, and so much more, as well as getting some dope music and mixes from my featured DJs from the Go Getta Mix, which is my radio show that airs every Friday on Hot 99.1 in Albany and WBLK 93.7 in Buffalo, New York. So go ahead and download the app. It is free $99. It's the official ADRI.V, the Go Getta app, and it is, of course, this week's sponsor. So I'm so excited for it. So please make sure you make your way to go get it. Well, today, as we jump into this week's episode, I am so excited because today is a great day. Today is a day all the stars aligned. Tommy and Crystal came together and they decided to do the wild thing and created a wonderful person by the name of Adriana Viverette Gamble. Yes, it is me. It is my birthday. So shout out to all the Aries. And for a while, as this birthday approached, I kind of felt so sad because I felt like I was going to be getting older. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm about to hyperventilate. I am like 1 from 30. So that means today is my 29th birthday. And I started having almost an anxiety attack, like, oh my gosh, I'm becoming 1 more year older. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I had to really just take a chill pill. I had to sit back, relax, and say, you know what? This is a blessing. There are so many people that I have grown up with that have not made it to see 29 years. And I am going to ride out and grind in 29 because by the time 30 come, I have to hit so many benchmarks. I got to use every second of it. And in addition to me rolling into my 29th birthday, we are rolling to the end of the first quarter of 2016 and going to be jumping into Q2 in a matter of hours. So my question to you is, are you ready? And secondly, are you really ready to achieve all that you want in pursuit of your dreams? Are you really ready to be the go-getter that you are? And I ask these questions because I realize that some people in pursuit of their dreams, once they get stopped, they stop. You know, what happens when things does not happen how you want them to happen? Ooh, that's a whole lot of happening. You know, once you get stopped, why is it that so many people stop? See, what I have learned in my pursuit of my dream, you know, I have had many times where I have cried. I definitely have had some yeses. I definitely have had some no's. I definitely have been overlooked. I definitely have been not considered because you use overlooked still. But what I realize is no matter how many times I may get stopped in my pursuit of my dream, I cannot stop. You know, how many times when things do not happen how I want them to happen, then what happens? I keep going. And this is why I hold on to the Bible verse that I love near and dear to me when it speaks about ask, seek, and knock, which are 3 pillars I'm definitely going to talk about that I live by and that I stand by, and I want to encourage you to consider each and every time. You see, the Bible speaks and it says, those who ask shall receive, those who seek shall find, and those who knock, the door shall be open unto them. You know, although the Bible speaks of it in a different term, I took it and made it more of, I'll say, the go-getter terminology for many, because it still holds the same. But I wanted to look at it from, just like Nike says, just do it. I want you to simply just ask. See, in your pursuit of your dreams and the pursuit of happiness, because if you're operating in your dreams and you're doing what you love, baby, it is true happiness. You have to just ask, okay? You have to. You see, many of us through this year, a lot of my friends took this jump, right? Took this jump to pursue our dreams, left some jobs, released some opportunities because they weren't really making us happy, and decided to get to the cliff, trust and believe in God, and just jump. Well, in the midst of this jump, some of us have parachutes. Well, majority of us have a parachute. And we're getting close to the ground. And it feels like you're pulling a string to your parachute, but the thing is not coming out. And you just see this ground is fastly approaching. But you can't panic. You can't quickly say, all right, I knew I shouldn't have jumped. Let me just try to grab the closest cliff, the closest piece of ground that I could get to so that I'm not automatically hitting the bottom. And when things doesn't happen the way we want them to happen, you cannot stop. And when you get stopped, you cannot stop. You see, in my pursuit, I've really learned to take on the notion to ask, seek, and knock. You see, these 3 pillars have transformed my view, has transformed my life, and I believe will continuously do so. So let me just speak on them. The first one, ask. So many times we are afraid to open our mouth. You see, I've learned that the old saying, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Well, in a closed mouth don't get fed. This is absolutely true. 9 times out of 10, no one knows what you want until you ask them. No one is checking for you until you speak up. And 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get what you want unless you make an effort to ask. And in the midst of asking, you never know what the answer can be. It could definitely be a yes. It could definitely be a possibly later. It can definitely be, or not right now. But no matter what the answer may be, if it's a no, it just didn't add to you. But if it's a yes, it's adding to you. But you cannot be afraid in the pursuit of your dream, in this pursuit of happiness, to make a request and ask. You can ask for help. You can ask about an opportunity. Ask if you could be connected to someone. Ask for a reference. Ask for someone to be your mentor. You've already made this jump, so now you got to do all you can. You already felt like you have been stopped, but you cannot stop there. You have to keep going. So you have to ask. And asking, for me, has landed me opportunities that I never thought I would have had. You see, when I was in college, I wanted to intern in the major market, of course, of New York City, which is the mecca of media. And I remember writing in my journal that I wanted to intern at BET and MTV, 2 major channels. And so I had the chance to intern at BET 1 year, and I was like, great, I could write this off the bucket list. So I was going for MTV, and I felt like I couldn't get any connect with MTV. But then I had an opportunity to meet with an alumni who happened to be the COO of finance at CNN. So in this meeting with the alumni, I remember him talking about himself, delighting and meeting with so many of the young students at that current moment in my undergraduate class. And I remember at the end when he asked if anyone had any questions, it was like crickets in the room. And I couldn't understand for the life of me, how is it that you got this man who is an alumni of the University of Buffalo, who is from Buffalo, and he took the time out of his day to come sit down with a group of students, which is a very small group, and to drop knowledge on us. And as I looked in my room and no one raised their hand, I immediately raised my hand. And I asked about, how did he get into the business? And he said he was interested in radio, and he started in radio sales. What a coinky dink. So I continued to ask more questions. Then my last question was, how can I get an internship with CNN? And guess what he did? He handed me his business card. And guess what happens? Everybody's eyes get to lighten it up like, ooh, okay, now they have questions. So they ask questions, but he didn't give them his business card to them. You see, what I learned in that moment is that asking a question can lead to your next opportunity. And you just never know how you just simply asking can help you. So afterwards, of course, I follow up, flip out my sidekick at the time, send him an email. Thank you so much for coming. Immediately after I left the room, asked him about, reviewing my resume. And he asked me a question. You see the ask is coming in there. If I wanted to get a job. And at that moment, I still had 2 more years to go at my school. And I said, no, but I would love an internship. And he said, consider it done. This is just because I simply asked a question. So, as I shared before, and I'll reiterate and state again, in your pursuits of following your dreams, you have to not be afraid to ask. Fear itself will cripple you. So you have to push fear out the way and not allow yourself to be stopped by yourself. Because sometimes we can self-sabotage our own self. That happened to me many times before. Well, I intentionally didn't send an email because I felt like I didn't want to have a rejection of a no. So I was afraid of being rejected. So I self-sabotaged myself and I chalked it up as saying, oh, they wouldn't have picked me anyway. I was too afraid to make the ask. So I've committed and I decided to promise myself that moving forward, I will always ask, because the only thing you can tell me is yes or no. And yes is great because something has been added to me, and no, nothing is being taken away from me. It just wasn't added. So you cannot be afraid to ask. Secondly, when I speak on my pillars, you have to seek. I have realized that so many people say they are in pursuit of their dreams, but they are not really seeking after the opportunity. It seems to me that they are waiting for it to fall into their lap. You see, I have a mentor who is truly a pusher. She is like a thorn in my side, and I love her for it. But she will push the heck out of you and make you seek in places that you never thought would see the dust of the crack of dawn, any kind of light, and it's just dust back there. But lo and behold, you will seek and you will find something, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I never thought to look there. You see, I've learned as a go-getter, nothing is just giving to you. You have to go and get it. And in the midst of going to get it, you have to seek after places of where to get it from. You have to seek after the people who can give you the insight and the information to assist you to get it. It being whatever it is that you desire your dreams to be. You can't just be on Instagram or social media and posting and thinking someone's going to see you. You have to seek after these people and tag them. You have to seek after these people and send them an email. You have to seek after these people and request an informational meeting. You have to seek after these people and desire an opportunity to do lunch. I remember wanting to work in a certain market, and I'll say again, New York City. And there's a particular radio station that I had my eyes on. I'll say have my eyes on. And I had no clue who the programming director was. And in not knowing who the programming director was, I knew the station, and I knew the number to the station. So what did I do? I had no contact at that station whatsoever, but I simply made a cold call, meaning calling without further information on who I'm connecting to or connecting with. So I simply called the number. They answered, said the station call letters, the station number. I'm like, hello, I am looking for your PD, which is your programming director. And they go, okay, great. I'll connect you to so-and-so. Now I know who so-and-so is. I simply seeked after the number, and now I've been able to find out who the programming director is. So I simply called the programming director and I said, hey, my name is ADRI.V. Gamble. I'm interested in doing la-da-da-da-da. I would love to do an informational meeting with you. I will be in town next week. Can we make this happen? He said, at this moment, I can't lock in a set date, but if you can follow with me a call back, we can set something up. I made a mental note of that. So instead of just, thinking he's rejecting me, I said, okay, he didn't say no. So guess what? I'm going to seek after him again. And within a week, which led up to the event of me going to New York, I called him again and followed back up. And what do? We locked in a time and a date for me to come have an informational meeting with him. I was there on time, ahead of time, which is to be on time. And I went in there, stated what I would like to do, how I could be an asset, and how I could be of support to his particular station, and what is it I wanted to do. And he said one thing to me that stood out, besides everything else, was the fact that I sought after him and that I followed up and followed through. Do you understand how important it is to not wait for someone to give you anything, or not wait for something to fall into your lap because it isn't, but you have to seek after it? And I sought after him. I followed up. I continued the call. And once I was able to make the connection, I made sure that I was present. And in addition, I sought after information to know about him so that when I spoke with him, I was able to articulate myself well. I was able to come across very prepared for this meeting and knowing exactly what I wanted and being able to ask in the midst of me already seeking after him. You see, you got to understand that what you want is waiting for you, but all you need to do is to seek after it. You got to go and get it. You see, they always say in a quote that I get a chance to see on Instagram, good thing comes to those who wait, but great things comes to those who hustle. You see, I would say good things comes to those who wait, but that's only crumbs of what the go-getter has already achieved, which is greater than the good. So the only way you can even achieve what you want is that you have to go and get it. You have to ask and you have to seek. And finally, in this pursuit of happiness, in the pursuit of your dream, and I say the pursuit of happiness because real joy and true happiness comes from within, but it also comes from being able to wake up to do what you love to do each and every morning. I remember telling my friend, if I was to ever be in a pageant and they would ask me, Adriana, what would you do to create peace in the world? That question they ask all the contestants. They'd be like, I would love for world peace and to stop hunger. For me, my answer would be this: for that everybody has the ability to wake up to do what they love to do each and every day and make that a living for them. Because the most miserable people I have found to be are not living in their purpose, are not living out a dream, and have no clue what they're here to do on this earth. It is such a miserable state to not know. This is why it's so important for you to understand what is it you want to do and what is it your mission is. And in pursuit of your dream and in pursuit of your happiness, you have to knock. You have to knock at the door of opportunity. Once you have asked about it, once you have seeked after it, and now you have identified your location and you know what you want is on the other side of the door, and I say this each and every time I'm signing off for radio, you have to knock at that door. And if that door does not open, sometimes you got to knock it down. You see, you have to take a holistic approach in going after your dream. Because as I stated earlier, what do you do when it doesn't happen how you want it to happen? I have had doors close on me that I thought would be open for me. I have been overlooked, as I have shared before, and I am still in pursuit of my ultimate dreams and goals. But I realized I cannot stop once I have been stopped. You just can't. You have to find it within yourself, because sometimes it hurts. Sometimes you cry as a woman. We get emotional and just like, oh, everybody is out to get me. But then after you get yourself back together, you say, you know what? I now have to find a way or make a way. And it's either knocking at this door, and if they don't hear me as I knock lightly, I knock a little bit louder. And by knocking a little bit louder, you're going to acknowledge that I'm out here at the door. And if you don't acknowledge that I'm out here at the door, then I'm going to bulldozer through this door. And I use this example when I had a chance to go visit while in New York City again. I feel like everything just becomes an example when I'm in New York City, because for me, it's like a magical city. So I got a chance to go visit one of my good friends at SiriusXM. And so when I got there, I was like, okay, I need for this meeting to happen. This meeting has to happen. I got to get in this door. And so I'm calling, and he's not picking up his office phone. And so I said, you know what? I'm about to just show up there anyways. Just show up, right? And so I make my way to the office, and of course you have to stop at the guard desk. They have to make sure you're checked in and you're buzzed in. And I get to the desk knowing good and well my name is not at the desk because he didn't answer the phone. And so I stop at the desk. I'm like, yes, I give them my card, my ID. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, you're not on here. Can you call him and see? So they tried calling him. He didn't pick up. And so I called him. He picked up and he goes, programming. So I let him know I was downstairs. So he said, hey, you're just gonna bully your way through the door, aren't you? I said, I sure am. And he cracked the joke and put my name through and let me on in upstairs. Now, just imagine if I wasn't persistent in knocking at the door, meaning I was constantly calling. I was following up, even showing up at the door, knowing good and well my name is not on the guest list. But I still figured out how to get myself through the door by bullying my way. And sometimes you have to bully your way to the door, because there's going to be things that will stop you. There's going to be people there that will discourage you. And there's going to be some people that say, you know what, you really can't do this. Once upon a time, my own mother did not want me to do radio. She wanted me to be a nurse. She's a nurse. But I knew she was saying it out of love. But just imagine if I allowed the words that she said and her perspective on my career choice to stop me, because it almost did. I would not be doing this podcast. I would not have my radio show, and I still would not be in pursuit of turning my dreams into a reality. Once you are stopped, you cannot stop. You have to continuously knock at that door. And if they don't open up for you, you can build your own door. This is how I created my podcast. I wanted to continuously be able to talk about the things that ignite me most: motivation, chasing your dream, becoming all that you want to become, and dying on E. And if I couldn't do that and talk about it freely on the radio, why not develop and create my own space and place to do so? And voila, welcome to the G Code. And so, in pursuit, as I say it again, of your dreams, your happiness, and your goals, you have to just ask, just like Nike. You have to ask for the things that you desire. Ask the people who holds the key. Ask the gatekeepers. You have to seek. Seek after the information you need. Seek after the key players in the game. Seek after the information that will prepare you for your next transition and your next step. And knock. You have to be unruly. You have to be aggressive. You have to be persistent and consistent at knocking at the doors that hold your key, or the doors that hold your dreams. If that door doesn't work, go to another. If they're not opening for you, knock a little louder. Figure out another way to get through. Because if you know that you know and you'll know that what you want is on the other side and what you desire is there, you cannot stop once you are stopped, because that door is separating you from your dream, from your reality. You cannot stop once you get stopped. You cannot stop once you get stopped. And once you decide to make that jump, you cannot pull back now. You have to keep going. Even when things does not happen how you want them to happen, when you want them to happen. It's life. That happens. But one thing you must promise me, and one thing you must know, that in this pursuit of your dreams, your goals, your desires, your happiness. You have to be holistic at taking an aggressive approach to go get all that you want. Holding nothing back, doing it unapologetically, and taking hostages if need be. So I feel like I done preached for about 25 minutes thus far, and those are not my intentions. But as I sit here and I think about my 29 years on this earth, as I celebrate my birthday, I think about the tears I have cried of closed doors. I think about the tears I have cried and continuously moving forward, no matter how I felt, if my feelings was hurt. I think about the no's I received. I think about the money that I have invested and still am invested in my dreams. And I think about the time I have put in. And I also think about why I was sad leading up to turning 29. It's because I haven't turned my dreams into the reality that I want. But what I did have to realize is that I am in a marathon and not a sprint. And that I have reached benchmarks after benchmarks in this career. And I have many more to go. So I charge you to not allow where you are right now to determine where you can be. I charge you to be content, but not complacent. I charge you to allow every day to be a day that you work on your craft. They say that you have to hit 10,000 hours to become an expert, and I know I got to be close. So if you are just now starting, if you are just now pursuing, listen, you got some hours to go. Don't allow yourself to get discouraged on this journey. Don't allow yourself to be stopped once you are stopped. Understand there are always roadblocks. And just like when you are in your car and you have a navigation system and you make a wrong turn, sometimes we have to reroute, recalculate, recalibrate, and redo it all again. I've been there many times before. And listen, I am not done on my journey just yet. And I'm constantly adjusting my speed as I drive and also ensuring that I am following my navigation system. And sometimes my navigation system will switch up on me. We might catch a little bit of static as we're going through the woods. And if I make a wrong turn, I have to reroute, and it happens. But as I celebrate my 29th birthday, I encourage you, my go-getters, to know and understand what being a go-getter is. And it's taking a holistic approach at pursuing what you desire, your dreams and your goals, and not stopping no matter how many times you are stopped. You have to every day wake up, get up, and determine to go get it, to get everything that you desire, and ask, seek, and knock all the way there. Well, my go-getters, I hope you enjoyed me preaching Pastor Bishop ADRI.V, the go-getter. Just joking. But I enjoyed this podcast. I hope you got a chance to learn my heart, to feel my heart, and to understand how I think. And 29 years on this earth is a true blessing. And the biggest birthday gift that you can give me is to, one, download my app, which is the true sponsor of this podcast. It's the ADRI.V, the Go Getta app. You can find it in your Google Play or in your iTunes, and it is free 99. Get ready to be encouraged, empowered, educated, and entertained through my app with my weekly podcast is available, as well as my Go Getta motivational minutes. You can get edutained, entertained, and educated with my blogs, as well as enjoy some great music with new music that will be dropping in weekly, and my mixes from my featured go-getters. You will have so much fun with that. So go ahead, use your Apple device, your Android, your tablet, your iPad, and download the ADRI.V, the Go Getta app today. And don't forget to subscribe to the G Code on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, and if you have a Podomatic, do it there. Just make sure you subscribe to us, and don't forget to share it with someone who else needs to be motivated and pushed to just ask. You know, you got to get like Nike and just do it, but go ahead and just ask. Ask, you can knock at the door of opportunity, and I promise you, you will be on your way to achieving all that you desire. Remember, you got to die on E. You don't want to take any and everything that you have to be given to the world and that you have to turn into a reality. So come on with me on this journey. I love you so much for listening. Thank you so much for checking into the G Code. And as always, remember, there is no need for the cheat code when you have the G Code. Welcome to the G Code.